Having personally experienced life in Africa, the US, and the UK, I understand the opportunities and the prevailing perceptions. It is upon you, the graduates of today, to shatter those stereotypes and to elevate the standard of Nigerian talent on the global stage.
Nigeria's education sector is fast getting the traction as we're seeing the shift from regular learning to online learning. Hello and welcome to this special episode of Focus on Amakio Bakeye. On this episode, we'll be looking at the third graduation ceremony of Nexford University's Masters in Business Administration and Bachelors in Business Administration.
It's the third graduation ceremony of students in the Bachelors in Business Administration and Masters in Business Administration program at Nexford University in Nigeria. Gathered to witness the ceremony are families, friends, and well-wishers of the graduates, as well as very important dignitaries. Over 600 graduates in all, with 42 bagging distinctions. Key speakers charged the graduating students to remain resilient and focused on their goals.
18% of Africa's urban population does not have access to electricity. Yet, 1% of the sunshine this continent receives is enough to power the entire world. Think about how addressing challenges like this is going to change the future of this continent. It costs the same amount of money to ship a container from China to Lagos as it does to move that container from Lagos to Abuja. Think about that. Think about how addressing challenges like this is going to change the future of this continent. However, productivity lags. Africa is half as productive as Europe, a third as productive as China. Imagine the transformation if our productivity mirrored that of other regions like China. Operating at the levels of productivity China does would create over 200 million jobs over the next 6 years alone. Think about how that would impact Nigeria as Africa's most populous nation and the country with its largest youth population. Some of you here today may feel these challenges are just insurmountable, but they are not. They truly are not. If we go back in time, just 70 years, South Korea was one of the poorest nations in the world, with a GDP of $1.7 billion. Today, it is the world's 10th largest economy with a GDP of 1.8 trillion, 4 times Nigeria's. I'm sure back then South Koreans were overwhelmed with despair, but here they are today. Where will Nigeria stand in the coming decades? And how will you contribute to that renaissance?
Remember that you want to take risks. Sometimes realizing your potential may require stepping out of your comfort zone and taking calculated risk. Embrace opportunities, even if they come with uncertainty. There are some things that keep us from reaching our potential and are barriers to reaching our potential. And mostly there are 3 of them. The most significant barrier to not being able to unleash your potential is your own self-doubt and fears. Oh, I don't think I can do it. Oh, I'm afraid. I don't know if I'd be successful. That little voice in your head that says, you're just not good enough. Fear is a very close companion to self-doubt. It can paralyze us, preventing us from taking that first crucial step. The good news, that you all took the first step of unleashing your potential by enrolling and completing your degree at Nexford. Congratulations and be proud of yourselves.
You need to have a coach, somebody who will push you just a bit more, a bit further. You need to have a mentor who will point out the guidelines, the signposts, help you recognize that you have not lost your way. You need to have a peer, somebody who is close to you, going through something similar that you can share experiences with. And lastly, you need to have a friend, somebody you can actually cry to, somebody who is not going to judge you for the days that you just feel that, what the hell am I doing? Build those relationships. You will need them as the time comes. But then you will find out the biggest thing of all. Nobody can make that decision for you. None of these 5 categories of relationships, none of the people you consulted, nobody will make the decision for you.
You have stayed in Nigeria and been able to access the most brilliant set of faculty, because faculty makes a university in the same way that teachers make a school. You've accessed the best of faculty from all over the world, and you've been able to take courses that would ordinarily not be available to you in universities that are not as endowed as the kind of institution you have graduated from. What this means, essentially, is that you have joined a very limited range of people in the world today that are clearly ready for the rest of the 21st century, where knowledge is designed to prepare the world for the disruptive era of technology. What that therefore means for us as a country is that you form a nucleus of the people who would challenge the traditional systems of thinking that has kept us below and behind the curve for development.
With the spate of Nigerians seeking to study abroad, visa requirements, funding are among the few hurdles they must cross. Nexford University believes its offering can cater to those who fall under these categories.
Affordability and relevance are 2 of the Nexford pillars. That's why we exist. I mean, we exist to provide access to high quality education that's relevant, but affordable. So in designing our curriculum, we've analyzed the needs of employers all across the world, including some of Africa's largest employers and Nigeria's largest employers. So our entire curriculum is designed to deliver those practical skills specifically. The affordability element is also key. So without affordability, there's simply no accessibility. So we provide monthly tuition structure, and the faster you graduate, the more money you save. So we actually reward people for working harder and being able to graduate faster. And I think we're probably the most affordable American university in the world.
Our solution was built after we went to employers. We conducted thousands of surveys. We spoke to thousands of employers to understand what their gaps were, where their businesses were going, and where there were skills shortages. And then we designed our programs around that. We also learned from them, what kind of case studies will be useful in effectively transferring these skills so that they are ready to work for them. So it's really that co-creation between us, employers, also talking to the students themselves and the kind of skills that they want to gather, and looking at the future of work. We look at where work is going, we look at where technology is going. So a lot of our programs, BBA, MBA, they actually have specializations. So you'll be doing a BBA with a specialization in data analytics or AI. And so that's the way we help to really, really go to the heart of where the gaps are with employers.
We interviewed 5,600 global employers from around the world. We found out what the pain points were for employment. We surveyed 30 million job vacancies from around the world, and based on that, we built our curriculum to fit the in-demand skills of learners, of employers. On the learners side, what we did was to put our learners at the center of what we do. So our entire curriculum, our strategy is built to be customer-centric, to be focused on the success of the learner.
I think that the global average for enrollment into tertiary education is somewhere between 25 to 27%. We are still at about 8 to 10%. So it shows that the spectrum that we need to close is pretty large. So what it means is that we need to have many more institutions. We're a country of over 200 million people. From the analysis of our population, the youthful segment with a median age of about 18.2 years are in the majority. And so it means that tertiary education will be in serious demand. We don't have enough carrying capacity of existing institutions. So we have to be innovative in terms of how we're delivering education to ensure that we're growing the stock of human capital that we need for development. And so what Nexford is doing is helping to produce the kind of global standard quality skills that our citizens must have in order to be globally competitive.
Filled with excitement and gratitude, the overall best graduating student who won the Valedictorian Award speaks about his journey to Nexford.
Early 2022, I was going through some situation at work. I was working there with a company that we got listed. Okay, so a couple of things were going on, and when, for example, you have sewn into a system, only to realize that I won't want to say that I was disadvantaged, but then I didn't see a problem. What I just saw was an opportunity to upgrade myself. So that was the beginning of my Nexford journey. So I decided to go. I was looking around for a program that I could quickly do. Then one of my friends recommended to me that there's a program by Nexford MBA. So that was how I started. Now, for me, I had a business background. So from my first course, I just used that as a kind of assessment of what the program is all about. So from my first course, I just made up my mind. The rest of the course, I did 12 courses. I made up my mind that I was going to make distinction in each of them. Because I could do that because when I look back at my business background, I'm a chartered accountant, so that background alone, I look at the syllabus. All of these things, they're quite easy for me, and I've been working for some time. And I would also say this concerning Nexford program is purely applications. So for me, it was like I had a very fantastic opportunity ahead of me. So I made up my mind I was going to maximize that. And that brought me to where I am right now, plus the grace of God.
There you have it, the third graduation ceremony of Nexford University's Masters in Business Administration and Bachelors in Business Administration. One thing you can know for sure is the fact that online learning here in Nigeria is fast becoming a thing that is being adopted. Oh well, that's all we can take on this episode of Focus On. Until next time, I remain Akin Obakeye. Thank you for watching.